What is going on, Fems and Rems? My name is Bison. It is very nice to meet you. I have probably tried to record this video about 6 times and end up talking too much about theory. I'm just going to give you a very basic overview on how to play Remnants. So if you're new here, in which case, welcome. Longwood Valley is fantastic. The Discord, the community is phenomenal. Go ahead and join if you haven't already. That would be like step number 1. Besides buying a Remnant or a Femnant, in which case go to Magic Eden, go ahead and find one that looks aesthetically pleasing to you. Note, all Femnants and Remnants loot the same. If you want some alpha, check and see if they have items. We do have an item checker, which I will go ahead and link in the description below, but it is camp.theremnantsnft.com /collection/remnants / yeah, there's another / at the end of that. So yeah, if you want to type that in, that's a really easy way to get to it. And it will go over, if you just kind of pan over all the listings, and it goes over all the listings, what's available for sale right now. Go ahead and look for items. I would suggest finding something with bolt cutters and paying a little bit extra for that, or buying a Femnant off the floor and getting some in the trade channel just so you can go to military base, because it is the best way to use your keys. So with keys, let's go ahead and jump into Longwood Valley, and you can see I have all of my Femnants and Remnants coming back from loot trips. I have this crafting table pulled up. We're not going to get to that just yet. First things first, note you get 2 keys per day per Remnant or Femnant, so make efficient use of that. We will be switching to a stamina system eventually, not right now. So the whole theory of it will change, but you want to make most efficient use of your keys. I went ahead and bought a ton of keys. I bought it off of players who were inactive and looking to get some soul, and we brokered a deal. So I play this all the time. I also go to Radiation Zone, which is a very key intensive place. I like filling in some of my downtime with residential to try to get money pouches, which is not a very efficient way of playing the game. There's a lot I do, but if you are just new to the game, or if you are, somebody who doesn't have a ton of remnants like myself, then you want to make the most efficient use of these keys. So we're going to be talking about that today. Now, the number one thing you want to do with these keys is, if you don't have bolt cutters like most of my Femnants don't, you can see she has no items equipped, no nothing. You can see I've sent just about all of my Femnants to prison. So yeah, you start out here. If you scroll down, you can see all of the places you can loot right now, and you are going to want to hit prison. Prison is great, not only because it is one of the best places to find tier 1 items, like Dusty Survival Guides, although it's a pretty low chance over at prison. I think it's like 0.5%, but walkie-talkies, stuff to just start equipping and getting a little bit more efficiency on your keys, is found at prison. The main thing you're looking for, though, is those bolt cutters that I was talking about. There's a 2% chance of finding them, so I'm hoping that with my 14 Femnants, although it'll probably take me like a week to find a pair, knowing my luck, then you want those in order to get to military base, where you can see all of my Remnants. Right now, I'm just trying to make most efficient use of my keys. Normally, before Femnants, I was going to Radiation Zone a ton. That's where you find the best items, but it is very key intensive. It takes 2 loot keys per trip, and it takes 8 hours to loot here. So you can fit at least 2 trips in there. Most of my Remnants are equipped with loot trip time decreased items, so I was fitting in like 3 to 4 and absolutely burning through keys. Once you go to prison, though, you can fill in with farm. Farm would be the next place I would go, just to fill in some time if you do have some downtime, if you have gotten off schedule, or need to loot something real quick before you go to bed, and you're like just trying to time it out. You're like, okay, well, I got 4 hours before bedtime. Let's go to farm because I can't run prison. I'm gonna be 2 hours into sleep. So farm is really good for Dusty Survival Guides, which I think is like the best item to have equipped. It increases your income percent and then decreases your trip time. So just a really good item. It's gonna be very good in the next update with stamina. I wholeheartedly believe that. So it's gonna be really good, man. I would definitely focus on prioritizing getting some of those as well. So once you get bolt cutters, your goal is to go to military base. We love military base because it takes 10 hours to loot, and that's without any trip time decreases. By the time you get to military base, you'll probably have at least some like walkie-talkies or a Dusty Survival Guide or something equipped. So you can usually fit in 2 within a day, 2 trips to military base, and that's your 2 keys right there. That's why we really like it. It is the highest camp per trip, so we like that for efficiency. And then you can also get some really good items here. Backpack being like number 1. You should have backpacks on all of your remnants or femnants because it allows you to equip 3 items instead of 2. Note, this is not an attribute on your remnant or femnant when you buy it. This is something that is in their inventory. So if you go to their inventory checker and they have it, that's how you have 3 slots instead of 2. It is not on the actual NFT itself. It is not, if you see a backpack like on your remnant or femnant, that does not mean they have a backpack in game. Cannot stress that enough. This is also where you get your hazmat helmet to go to radiation zone, and that's the last zone we have to unlock before we have this next round of updates. So again, I expect this to be completely outdated in about a month when we release new zones, stamina, marketplace, single-sided stake. I mean, there's so much coming here, but this is just a brief overview of how to play the game. When you are looking to claim your loot, you either go up to the top left and you see this little backpack here. You go ahead and open it. If you're on desktop, you can actually press I. If you hit that little question mark button in the top left, if you ever forget how to play anything, that's a pretty good guide, a brief overview on how to play. But you can see I have nothing equipped here. We're going to go ahead and hit claim. So if it is blacked out like that, you see how at the bottom, this one is much more clear than the one over to the right or the rest of them. That is because they are on loot trips. That means they are back from loot trips too. They're just waiting for you to claim their items. So this one is now ready for me to send out. We are going to go ahead and send her back. We're going to go over and send her back to prison to try to get those bolt cutters as well as other survival items. I have some leftover stuff, but it is just so hard to manage inventory right now until they come out with a new update. So that's why they're all pretty much without items. I think I only equipped items to a few of them. So that about does it on how to play the game at a very basic level. Once you have enough stuff to craft items, I went ahead and made a crafting guide. So let's go back over here. We're gonna go over here. Just on net benefit. So if you, I know a lot of people probably only bought like a remnant or 2, maybe bought a remnant camp, which if you haven't, would highly suggest doing so. Not financial advice as always, but I think land is going to be very valuable and it will be much more finite than looters will. So looters are more fun, but land is where the real alpha is. So definitely go ahead and grab those. You can find those on Magic Eden. Remnant camps is how you find them. This is a crafting chart though. So it takes 250 camp tokens plus 2 T1 items in order to get to T2, tier 2. And then 2 tier 2 items plus 250 camp to get to tier 3. That's 750 camp and basically 4 T1 items in order to get to a T3. So it is pretty costly. They have said that is going to get more costly in the new updates, so keep that in mind. It is going to be more expensive to do so. So I am upgrading everything, but I know not everybody has the camp to do so. So unless you buy some on Famous Fox Federation token market, you're just gonna have to work with what you got or what you loot. And I made this handy dandy guide showing you what are the best upgrades to make. Personally, if I were you, if I were a newcomer and I had all of these items, the first things I would prioritize upgrading are going to be compasses and Dusty Survival Guides. Those are the 2 items I actually still use to this day on most of my remnants. I sometimes use flashlights just because they're better than binoculars and you got more net benefit when you upgrade them. So it just makes sense, but the rest of the items really aren't that useful in the current meta. If you have nothing equipped, obviously they're better than nothing, but upgrading them, it's just a lot less net benefit than what you actually get when you're spending the camp and burning those 2 tier 1 items or 2 tier 2 items to get to tier 3 or tier 2, etc. This is just, something I prioritize. Like I said, Dusty Survival Guides and compasses are what I use on just about all of my remnants. And I can almost guarantee that they're going to be still very OP in the next updates as well. So that would be what I prioritize once you get to that point. But for right now, just worry about progression. You're going to prison first. Once you get bolt cutters, you're going to military base. Once you get a hazmat helmet, you can decide to go to radiation zone. I probably wouldn't unless you can afford more keys. You start getting more items that make it to where you're covering your key cost. It costs 22 camp tokens per key that you craft. You can go over to the locksmith to do so. Again, this will all be irrelevant once we switch to a stamina system. I would stay at military base. That's going to be where you can start stacking your camp. I think that's going to be very useful. You can start finding a lot of compasses, a lot of dusty survival guides, a lot of backpacks, and all of this. These are all really useful items to this day. And stacking your camp, like I said, is a really good way to do so. This is how you maximize your key efficiency, which is probably the most important thing to do as of right now. Once you start stacking your remnant or femnant with items, you have a little bit more flexibility as far as, maybe you do one military base run and then you're trying to go get some more dusty survival guides to get to T3. I would maybe fill in with some farm runs. If you have extra downtime, that's the best place to find survival guides, as well as just about any other item that has really good drop rates. So while the camp sucks per drop, the item drop rate is excellent. So that's where you find a lot of T1 items. But that about does it. I hope this was helpful. You can always find me in Discord. My name is Bison in Discord. So I'm one of the unofficial leaders of SaberDAO, along with like Slake and everybody. So yeah, come join us. Come grab a Saber, and we share alpha in there all the time. We have our own Discord server, as well as subscribe to the channel, please. The more subscribers I get, the more views I get, the more I get to do cool stuff like this and share strategy. There will be a ton more videos on Remnants on my channel in the future as we continue to get updates. So stay tuned and continue to follow, continue to subscribe. I will share all of my theory crafting and net profit on how to make it a profitable game. So far, I've looted about a little over 130 soul worth of items with 11 remnants, and half of those I didn't even have for the full 3 months since I've been in the project. You're looking at about, almost 13 soul per remnant in 3 months, and that is an excellent return, even at current prices. And with the doubling of looters, you're going to see even more item demand. So once we get the marketplace, once we get the liquidity pool, this is just a really good game. It's fun. It pays to reinvest into the game right now. That would be my biggest nudge nudge wink wink alpha move. Is you could sell your tokens on Famous Fox Federation. You could sell your items on our trade channel, but once we establish the game more, once there's more of a demand to play the game, I think those that reinvest and get that extra edge over the competition are going to be the ones who actually reap the serious profit. So that about does it for me on this video. I did not mean to make it 13 minutes, but it is what it is. I will see you on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, like, and follow me on Twitter at BisonTrades for more Remnants and Solana NFT content.